Not every weight loss journey looks the same, and neither should the solution. That's where personalized medicine comes in. GLP-1 medications like Semaglutide and Tirzepatide are changing the game, but they're not a one-size-fits-all solution. Today we're breaking down who makes a good candidate for GLP-1s, who may need to avoid them, and how to start the right conversation with your doctor. Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Weight Loss War podcast. I am your host Trevor. As usual, we're going to start off today with a quote. Today's quote is by Maya Angelou, who said, "We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated." Alright, so let's jump right in. Today we're talking about GLP-1s, what the eligibility criteria is, and who may benefit most from it. And let's get going right now. So, generally speaking, and first a caveat: I am not a doctor. I do own a weight loss clinic, and my first criteria, my first matter of advice is always consult with your physician, consult with a licensed practicing physician who can answer all of your questions, who can give you the information that you need and customize and determine whether it actually is right for you or not. Now, let's go. Let's jump into who it starts for, who we recommend GLP-1, which is Tirzepatide or Semaglutide. The brand names are Ozempic, Zepbound, Wegovy, Mounjaro. I think I switched those, but those are the two main weight loss injections that we're talking about. When we say GLP-1s, we're talking about Semaglutide and Tirzepatide. Now, the people that will benefit most from these are people with a BMI of 30 or higher, or people with a BMI of 27 or higher who also have weight-related conditions like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or insulin resistance. GLP-1s are especially effective for those with metabolic dysfunction, meaning your body has a harder time regulating hunger, blood sugar, and fat storage. And these medications will help correct those imbalances, making weight loss easier and more sustainable. Now, I know a lot of people out there, including myself, as soon as you mention BMI, think that's a very inaccurate way to, of course it is. Generalized starting point to see if you qualify. We take your weight and your height, we see you, get you into a doctor, we talk about what benefits there are, whether it is appropriate for you or not, and go from there. But this is a baseline that we talk about to see if it's something that you could benefit from. But let's talk about those who should avoid GLP-1s. Because there are people who are not good candidates. They aren't for everyone. So not generally, these are the hard lines that we have. If you have a history of medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, and if you have those things, you know it, or have had those conditions, you know it, you are not a candidate. We, especially at our clinic, especially at our clinic, any qualified physician will tell you you are not qualified, you cannot be on it if you have that. Also, if you have a personal or family history of pancreatitis, you may not be a good candidate. And then there are certain digestive conditions, or if you have severe gastroparesis, that may be an indicator that you are not a good candidate. Now, also, we don't prescribe to people who are breastfeeding or lactating. That's the exact same thing. Pregnant or lactating, because we don't want to take risks with causing any side effects to developing babies. So those are the things that we look for. If you come in, if you talk to us on the phone and are wondering if you can come in, you have any of those things, we will turn you down. If the doctor, sees any of those on your history and physical screening, he will not prescribe it to you until that is cleared up, or ever if you have one of the aforementioned diseases, cancers, whatever. But sometimes the most inspiring stories come from people who don't fit the typical mold. For example, I read a story about a woman named Michelle. She had a BMI of 26, and she had struggled with severe insulin resistance and PCOS for over a decade. And even though she didn't meet the classic BMI cutoff, her doctor looked at the full picture and decided to try a low dose of GLP-1 in conjunction with lifestyle coaching. And then fast forward 6 months, Michelle lost 22 pounds, she stabilized her blood sugar, and for the first time in years, she felt like she was back in control of her health. The point is, a doctor is qualified to look at the whole picture and see if you are qualified, if you fit the criteria, if it is something that could be appropriate for you. And so, that's what they look for. They take in the whole picture. It's not just about your weight. They look at your metabolic markers, your weight history, patterns, symptoms like intense hunger, fatigue, and cravings, and your ability to lose weight and maintain weight loss with lifestyle alone. The goal with each screening, and why we recommend talking to a doctor if you think you might qualify or want to check it out, is because their goal is to identify who will benefit safely and sustainably from GLP-1s, not just trying to find who checks the boxes. I can give you all of the information out there, but the doctor is the one who is going to make the ultimate decision based on a variety of factors and information that he collects to see if you qualify. So that's the point. If you're curious about GLP-1s, talk to a provider. Ask them if you are a candidate based on your health and history goals. Ask about what kind of results you can realistically expect. You should talk about how long you would need to be on the medication, what are the potential risks and side effects, and, how do we monitor progress and how do we adjust based on that? And ultimately, I feel the need to mention GLP-1s aren't a shortcut. They are a science-backed tool that can work wonders in the right hands for the right people. But they are a tool. So bear that in mind when you go in. They are a tool designed to help with weight loss, that can help you with weight loss, but there are other factors. If you've been listening to this podcast at all, you know that there are other things you need to do so that you can have long-term success and quality of life. But anyway, I have rambled on too long. Again, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at trevor@ultimatemedicalweightloss.com. I have a weight loss clinic in Utah. I can set up a consult with our doctor if you would like. If you aren't in Utah, I will still answer any of the questions that I can, even though I don't have a doctor that can prescribe you anything and I can't get you the medications. I am more than happy to answer any questions. So feel free to shoot me an email, and if you like this episode, subscribe, comment. It really helps, and we will see you next time.